Yo, what is going on, guys? I had a little squeaky voice there for the yo in the beginning. What do we got going? Don't panic, you guys. Do not panic. That is an article from 1 year ago tomorrow on the whole frenzy. We know all about it, right? Got me thinking a little bit. The last couple of days I've been feeling pissed off. We've touched on it, about the whole buy button situation. Because like I said, and I've said it a million times, it's the one thing that just makes me irate. Just pissed off, PO'd, and a lot of us too. But for me, it's the number one thing by far that I'm pissed off about. I remember that day, Claire Isabel, obviously because we didn't get to buy more shares, but the day before, a lot of you guys know. I'll give you the brief rundown on why this pisses me off. And even if I had to buy those shares that day at $100 per share, it wouldn't have mattered to me. I was able to average down, make a killing in June off of those shares with my call option, have stayed more shares, blah, blah, blah. But still, I would have much rather been able to buy that stock at $100 per share on the 28th than not buy them at all, right? I remember that. I sold a bunch of crap. I bought in at 17 something the day before the buy button was removed. I had about 600 shares. Sold a bunch of crap. I was going to go buy the next day. We couldn't buy the goddamn stock, right? But in the benefit of that, and I didn't want to call it a benefit that I was able to average down and get more money in June. I don't care. I don't give a rat's ass. It's the point. The stock, you couldn't buy the stock on January 28th because of, we know everything behind it. If some of you new apes are out there and do not know the whole complete story, the lies and everything, there's DD all out there about it, but just criminal to no extent, right? So there's your anniversary article 1 year ago tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. I know we won't forget it. So let's see what happens tomorrow. We know what happened with these damn stocks again today. Who gives a shit about the price? We're not even going to talk about those crap. The other thing that's just got me fired up and absolutely chuckling, to say the least, we touched on this whole Hester gal with her no vote yesterday. And I've said this for months. I've said this basically since I've gotten this community coming together and just unraveling like an onion peels, layers of onions on this woman today is unbelievable. I notice I haven't watched any of it yet, but AMC Bigums is doing a live stream about the Hester girl, right? It's everywhere. We're only going to touch on one thing here. This video clip somebody posted somewhere of her just getting blasted by Senator Warren. But just, you guys, it's just, it kind of reminds me of those internet detectives where they just start unfolding and what's that movie? I brought this up months ago. Don't Bleep with Cats. How they needle in a haystack found that murderer that did those online my gosh, you guys, it just gets better and better. And that woman looks a little fragile with her Hester boyish name, so I'm sure she's not taking this well. She has to see all of this. She tweeted something out and the comments on there were outstanding. If you haven't seen it, find her on Twitter and look at the comments. She was kind of trying to justify her answer or her no vote yesterday. But just outstanding. This community just, the one thing when this is whole said and over, I'm going to miss that stuff because it's really mind-blowing how millions of people can come together, dig so deep in a 24-hour period, less than a 24-hour period, and just unravel this woman. She was paid appearance fee. It just goes on and on and on. If you guys haven't seen it, there's way too much to dig into. I was going to bring up a few things and talk about it, but we'd have to do a live stream on the damn thing. So anyway, let's pop into this. And another old classic video we played, but just something in there caught my eye about the dark pools too. Let's go. Here we go. Finish at 1452. Again, a little bit up in after hours. Oh, we got to talk about Robinhood today too. Boy, oh boy. GME, yep, down a little bit, up a little bit in after hours, blah, blah, blah. We know. This one here had me thinking. Shout out to Leandro Stonks over on the AMC subreddit. Just physically think about this here. This is the ridiculous. The full float has been traded about 56 times in AMC, right? This time frame, and we are holding 80 to 90% of the float. As you can see, take a peek at this, pause it if you got to. But just think about that. 500 million, just billions of shares traded. We see the buying pressure even just from Fidelity. Every day it's 70, at worst case scenario, it's more like 80%, 90% buys. Yet we've traded the float 56 times over. Nobody is selling it. I guarantee you, if this last 2 months, let's just call it, anything under $30, if these fine folks are not selling at 70, 60, 50, 40, you're most certainly not selling at anything under 30, and you're most certainly not selling at anything under 20. It's not happening. And it's not happening for a bunch of reasons. One, well, let's just say 2 reasons, really. Let's just shorten it up. One reason, you're way, way down, right? The other reason is because we know the shorts have not covered this position yet. End of story, right? Something like this, if I held a stock for a year and I was down a shitload, I would probably just sell it. Unless it's something similar to this short squeeze situation, you're probably just going to take your lumps. Well, first of all, you're probably not going to hold it that long. But still, I've taken some pretty big losses over the years, and it's just you cut ties and move on. This one, nobody's selling it. 56 times, ladies and gentlemen. 56. What do we got over here? Oh, Melissa Lee's cracking me up. Look at this. She retweeted and put "This is fire" on the zero hedge about the Robinhood down below. The opposite of green is not dark green. Just think it. Look at this, dude. The media. Now we're going green, and then now we're using dark green for red. Dude, please, somebody. That's so funny. And Melissa retweets it. You guys, why is this not red here? Dude. Killing me. Oh, God, dog it. We're going to bring this up in the end like we did yesterday, but this is way too good not to hold on here. The next article will touch on Robinhood. As you can see, earnings were not all the best. We'll touch on those in a minute, but we took a little bit of a dip here today, especially in after hours, as you can see right here. Earnings and then El Whammo. Speaking of earnings, over here, here's Vlad there, that cute little son of a gun. Commission-free brokerage Robinhood Markets Inc. on Thursday posted a $423 million net loss in the last quarter, and its shares have tumbled 50% in after hours. We just took a peek at that. The company posted net income of $7 million, or 1 cent per share. This got cracked me up down here. Robinhood's costs during the fourth quarter increased. Oh no, the next one cracked me up. Robinhood's costs increased by 162% on the previous year. Couldn't whiff harder on any earnings right here, right? I'm not a big earnings master wizard, but that doesn't look good to me, right? Down here though, who said this? Chief Financial Jason Warnick said, "We think we're in a really good position to start showing that from here." Whatever he was talking about. Long story short, they're not going to... That's bad, you guys. God, that's bad. I seen a tweet. I meant to pull it up. It just reminded me of somebody saying, hey, putting all this nonsense on Robinhood. I'll retweet it. I'm going to find it. I don't want to talk about it because I know half the information I was talking about. Something's up here. Can you imagine, like, in the savage hedge fund world, like a Citadel, this guy here is easy to push around. I think with one phone call, Ken Griffin could call Vlad and just say, hey, Vlad, bud, I need you to run down to the nearest bridge and jump off of it. And there's a pretty decent shot that Vlad would just say, okay, Kenny, thanks, buddy, and go jump off the bridge. I really honestly believe that. Retail traders have been mostly unfazed by the market rout, pouring $1.8 billion in stocks on Tuesday alone. I loved reading this. This right here, just a bunch of, we don't give 2 shits. You want to talk about dumb money? We don't give a shit is what this article's saying right there. And that is pretty badass. Retail traders bought $1.8 billion worth of stocks Tuesday as the broader market slumped. Yes, we know retail investors have been dip buyers like the Evergrande crosses. It's just, The whole thing, if you guys want to read it, I didn't even read it. It's just the headline of that was like, that's badass. Yeah, we don't give a shit, man. That's flipping outstanding. Excuse me, ladies. I'm trying not to drop any F-bombs here. This dude put this together. Shout out to Rip and Dip Traders on the anniversary. We got to play this. It's about 3 minutes long. Shout out to this dude because I think he put it together. This is freaking outstanding. Very well done. 3 minutes on basically what did happen, what has happened, and where we're at today, but just super awesome.
This day, 1 year ago, one of the most controversial situations occurred. Brokers far and wide decided that the very people they convinced to enter the markets were not worthy of wealth. A very important button was removed from our software, a button that represents 50% of why we entered the stock market to begin with. The buy button. Outrage engulfed retail investors, and many were financially ruined. All the while, we were assured by our trusted brokers that this action was to protect us from highly volatile investments. AMC, GME, NAKD, just to name a few. A war was waged. A war that continues to this very day. You see, war comes in many forms. This war is psychological in nature. War changes people. Trauma changes people. Many of us still fight this battle. A treasure chest of misinformation, media-driven narratives, and corruption within our financial system. Retail was never intended to win. Brokers like Robinhood claim they want to empower us. In order to do so, they provide charts without indicators. Webull seemed to be a better choice, yet we realized that our own orders did not show up on the paid Level 2 data. The point of this video is not to enrage viewers, it is to inspire. Whatever the outcome of this journey we have embarked on, we will be changed forever. Some for good, some for the worst. More retail investors have entered the market than ever before. For this, I am grateful. Despite governing bodies such as the SEC being slow to act, I truly believe we are getting their ear. Whether you continue to buy, hodl, sell, or walk away completely, never forget this year. Continue down the path you chose with conviction, for that is the only way to truly sleep at night. Regret nothing and learn from everything. Many of us will miss this when it is over, as strange as that sounds. The welcome distraction from chaotic and terrifying times in society. Pandemics, political and civil unrest. The markets themselves seemed like a warm bath to immerse ourselves in. A year later, I encourage you all, despite your decisions in the market, to focus on the blessings God has given you. Connections made through this process, health, family, friends, baby's laughter, nature's amazing healing powers, anything you can be grateful for. For this battle may be over for some of us, but the war against Wall Street corruption is just beginning. It will likely continue for years to come. Take pride in everything that you've done to plant the seed of change. This day, 1 year ago.
That was super cool. I really like that. Shout out, sir. That was outstanding. I'll share that if you guys want to watch it again. Super, super cool. We got to play this again, you guys. I did this 6 months ago, but had me thinking of this dickhead's comments, this head trader on the trading floor of Citadel. It's about 2.5 minutes long. I think a lot of you guys have seen it. If you have not, even if you have, watch it again, because this guy's dark pool comments. I think I remember sharing this a good 6 months ago, maybe, or whatever. Maybe before the dark pool became a thing over this last year. You know, how crazy we got there with it. But long story short, let's take a brief listen to this damn thing.
It's the moment investors around the world wait for, the 9:30 opening of the U.S. markets. Inside Citadel's Chicago headquarters, it's eerily quiet, even though this firm trades more stocks every day than the New York Stock Exchange.
Now, yep, 2 minutes to the open, so we're about to get going here.
Is there any equivalent of a bell that we're going to hear or see?
I have a world clock up there. That's about it. We're just going to hear the air conditioning above us.
The equivalent of the NYSE's opening bell is just this. Millions of orders that have been waiting all night for the markets to open are rapidly filled by Citadel's computer programs.
How do the books look, guys? So we're pumping through a lot of volume right now. You can see how quiet it is. The phone's not even ringing. Clients are happy. You know, if there was ever an issue, obviously we would spot it first and the phones would light up. We have executed 21 million shares already.
Wow, and we are not even 3 minutes in. Meet the new Wall Street traders. Here, computers like these do the heavy lifting. Citadel's employees with PhDs in applied math, physics, and engineering build and refine the computer programs. And the people who manage the trading floor here mostly look for computer glitches and talk to customers.
They are not making trading decisions. Those are all made by the computers. So
They ain't doing shit. They're just sitting there. They ain't doing shit. Get me in there with my fat ass with my hat on backwards. Hey, Kenny, we got a problem down here with AMC. They ain't doing shit. Ain't a phone ringing, ain't a music in the background. You're just sitting there looking important with 37 monitors in front of you. They ain't doing nothing. Jesus Christ.
they're not making any decisions with respect to whether an order should be filled, what price it should be filled. That's all done in an automated way.
When you click send from your TD Ameritrade account, there's a good chance that Citadel's computers see it. Then they either fill your order or send it out to the Byzantine network of 13 exchanges and 20 plus dark pools to execute it.
Dark pool is really, it's an unfortunate terminology that the industry created.
Oh my God, Jamel. Did he really just say that? Making it, like the word is nasty and it's just an unfortunate thing for you guys. Dark pool. And then he's going to explain to you guys, okay? Like you're a bunch of derelicts on just what this does. Dude.
And really, a dark pool is nothing more than a crossing engine. Now, it's called dark because the whole market doesn't know what you want to buy or sell.
We've seen these market dislocations.
He makes it look like just a bad word. It's ugly. It's all good. And then he just says it so nobody knows what you're doing, basically. Oh, God.
Is it fair to think of it almost as a technological arms race?
Yeah, I think it's no different than any other industry. 100 years ago, there were literally hundreds of car companies across the U.S., and there was a lot of smaller companies. Over time, manufacturing became very automated. You had factories, and you had the cost of building a factory went up. We are a technology leader. We make a big investment in technology to stay cutting edge, and yeah.
Oh man, you guys, ladies and gentlemen, that's just disgusting, isn't it? Just, oh man. Turd of the day. Just read the headline. That's it. Turd of the day. Okay, guys. I really want to give a shout out to everybody out there, whether you have a Discord, a Reddit, or Twitter people, everyone in this whole community for the massive amount. I don't even want to think about the man hours put into this last year on the anniversary of basically this. This is the anniversary, I call it, of the start of the last year, right? But just the time spent by you guys, and the reason why I'm saying that is I'm bringing this up today with this Hester Pierce lady that has just been, again, unfolded like an onion. Oh, I thought this was a body down here. Look at these legs. I thought somebody tipped down there. But just, no, in all seriousness, thanks to everyone. Not even me, with all I'm doing is covering cool things and all that, but just, I don't spend nearly as much time as some of you guys do on there. So seriously, thanks everyone for this. It's been a massive learning experience. We're by no means over, obviously, but just the savagery and the unfolding of everything. You know, it's mind blowing. Every time I see something and I bring it up, whether, you know, this is a perfect example. I bring it up yesterday. It's talked about yesterday, right? And then the next morning you wake up and you unfold your Twitters and your Reddits and wherever else you're getting your info from, and this woman is unfolded right in front of our eyes. All of you people, whether it's last night, I guarantee you people are up in the wee hours of the morning putting this stuff together. AMC Beacon's over there doing a live stream, and just the amount of time that guy alone spent unfolding. And I haven't even watched it yet, but I guarantee you he did, because every time he does a video like that, the guy prepares, and I watch every one of them, and it's just outstanding. So everyone, hang in there. I try to be the calm voice of everything, and I am. The bottom line with this, and I've said it, broken record, 7 trillion times, these things are, both of these stocks, whether you're in AMC, I know the majority of you are, or GameStop, or BlackBerry, or Koss, or Sundial, or anything out there that's manipulated, shorted to death, we know is they haven't covered these positions. They're shorted into oblivion right now. AMC alone and GameStop both shorted at all-time highs. AMC, so they haven't covered. The stock is going to go up, so let's just hang in there. But this is too fun not to watch this. Let's play this on the way out, and we got one more trading day tomorrow. Remember, you guys, get over to Twitter. There's a good shot you can win. There's not a bazillion tweets on the giveaway for tomorrow. Remember, I'll end it at 1 o'clock. No more posts after 1 p.m. market close, and then I'll figure out the top 2 that are closest to the closing price tomorrow. So you got a little bit of an advantage if it's your first guess coming up here, because you know where the stock's at right now rather than Monday, right? So either way, let's have some fun tomorrow. Everybody cool down, take the weekend off, and then we'll regroup for next week as well. But listen to this. Outstanding work, guys.
The job of SEC Commissioner is largely to be a watchdog, to make sure that the public is protected and the markets are honest and fair. After the financial crash of 2008 showed us that Wall Street was out of control, Congress passed Dodd-Frank to try to rein them in, and the SEC was directed to write or enforce dozens of rules to protect our financial systems. Now, Ms. Peirce, in the past few years, you've attacked many of those same rules. For example, you edited and contributed to an entire book called Dodd-Frank, What It Does and Why It's Flawed, which criticizes several SEC rules required by law. You wrote that the Volcker Rule, one of the key provisions to deal with too big to fail, quote, requires regulators and industry to pour countless hours into an effort that may end up impairing rather than shoring up our financial institutions and our markets. It's nothing to celebrate. You wrote that Congress should, quote, perform major surgery, close quote, on Dodd-Frank to reduce its directives to agencies, and you argued that the SEC, quote, is a prime candidate for mandate trimming. You have described the CEO pay ratio disclosure rule and the conflict minerals disclosure rule, 2 SEC rules that are required by Congress, as, quote, pointless Dodd-Frank mandates. What you propose, as best I can tell from your writings, is less oversight of big banks, fewer efforts to rein them in, more chances for them to take on big risks.
Do you guys see where this is going right out of the gate here? Oh, man.
Boost their profits, and if things go wrong, come crying to the government for another bailout. Now, you are certainly entitled to your opinion and to express it as loudly as you want. But the question is whether someone should be put in charge of enforcing laws that they think are unnecessary or counterproductive. You know, no one hires a watchdog who isn't committed to enforcing the rules. So I want to ask, what kind of watchdog will you make if you believe that parts of Dodd-Frank are, and I'm quoting you, pointless, and you think that Congress should repeal much of it?
Senator, I certainly understand your concern, but I wrote those comments not in the context of a regulator charged with implementing the rules, but in the context of an academic researcher whose goal is to suggest a financial regulatory architecture that will work better at protecting investors and ensuring that people take responsibility for their own behavior. The reason I don't think you need to be concerned is that I was a regulator. I was a regulator for 8 years, and I was able to do the job. And certainly in asking you to confirm me for this job, I'm not asking you to confirm me to not implement rules, but to implement rules. And in fact, the time that I spent here on the staff was very useful in teaching me the importance of regulators adhering to what Congress tells them to do. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with a regulator saying, we're going to do this as you asked us to do. We do have concerns, but we're going to do this. And that's what I would do if I were there. I would work on implementing the rules as best as they could be implemented, and pointing out where I thought there might be issues that Congress should look at again. But until Congress looks at those again, the responsibility of the agency is to enforce the rules.
Well, I have to say, I assume anyone who wants the watchdog job would say exactly that. But an SEC commissioner has a lot of tools that can be used to undermine all of Congress's mandates. You can delay the rules, you can water them down, you can look the other way when it's time to enforce them, and frankly, there won't be much that Congress can do about it once you're confirmed. And that's a real concern for me, because in April 2014, the D.C. Circuit rejected a challenge to the SEC's congressionally required conflict minerals rule. And shortly after the court's ruling that the SEC could act and that Congress had required it to act, you took a very different view. You tweeted, just because the court isn't stopping SEC from requiring immediate compliance with conflict minerals rule doesn't mean the SEC shouldn't stop itself. Now that sounds like you believe SEC commissioners can and should ignore the law, that the watchdog should look the other way. So I want to be absolutely clear on this. If you are confirmed as a commissioner and a congressionally mandated Dodd-Frank rule does not fit with your personal view of the SEC's mission, are you now saying that you will do everything in your power to effectively implement and enforce that rule?
Certainly, and sometimes effective implementation requires delaying so that companies are able to implement it properly.
So delay sounds like you've left yourself a lot of room here.
When the SEC crafts rules, one of the things it does is it sets implementation periods, and it does that in a way to make sure that industry is going to be able to get on board in a way that's effective and achieves the objectives of the rules. And if I were to be confirmed, my goal would be to work with the staff of the Commission and the other commissioners to figure out the most effective way to implement the statutory mandates given by Dodd-Frank and other statutes. That would be my job as a commissioner.
Thank you. Congress mandated that no more than 3 out of 5 of the SEC commissioners can be members of the same political party. And so long as that is the case, we're going to have Republican commissioners and Democratic commissioners, and they will invariably have different views about the job. But there is a big difference between disagreeing about how best to implement a law and actively sabotaging the law. Advice and consent is about making individualized, good faith judgments, and I think your record gives the American people reason to be concerned about your nomination. Thank you, Mr.
Just blasted this woman into an oblivion. This is embarrassing, you guys. Keep in mind, this is from 2016, right? Right here. Senator Elizabeth Warren, Q&A with SEC Commissioner nominee Hester Pierce. Just after, okay, let's take our whole hiring process. This is 6.5 minutes. I've heard enough right there to not hire this woman. Yet, here you go. Come on in. Not a problem, honey. Embarrassing, you guys. Flat out embarrassing. And this is why we dig deep like this. This is why people sit up all night long and go, wait a minute. Now, hold on a second. This woman did what? She worked at Citadel and now she has a vote, and then we start digging and digging and digging and digging. Next thing you know, it's 24 hours later, and this whole woman's entire career has been flipped wide open for everyone to see. There's your stock market, folks. Jesus God, you guys, it's so embarrassing. Okay, we went long as hell. I think that stuff's worth watching, though. Contest, stay calm, stay zen, nobody freak out. Happy anniversary of the buy button. Let's keep a close eye on Robinhood tomorrow. Maybe it'll go to 0, and they can take the fall for this and blow everything up to shit, right? Okay, we're out of here. Love you guys. Talk to you later.